Hi, my name is Connie White, and I'm a real estate broker affiliated with RE/MAX Realty Advisors. This interview is part of a series of interviews entitled Tapping into Our Local Talent, where I have the opportunity and pleasure to interview experts in our local businesses. Today I welcome Gary Minnehan, the owner of Affiliated Appraisal.
Hey,
Welcome,
Connie.
Gary. How are you doing?
Nice to see you.
Let's start by you telling me how long you've owned your business and describe the details of your business.
Sure. I started in my business about 10 years ago as my own business. I was in the real estate appraisal business for about 15 years before that. So I've been doing it for about 10 years. And basically what we do in real estate appraising is we go out and look at properties for banks and mortgage companies, and sometimes private parties as well. The majority of the work seems to be right now in the refinancing business because of the low interest rates. But what we'll do is we find a property, or we get assigned to appraise a property, and we'll go out and we'll look at it, and we'll get all the information about it, and then we'll bring it back to our office and go on the computer and so forth, and put a report together and send it to the bank. The bank is looking for it for the loan that they're going to give on the property. They want to be sure that the value is there so that they know if it's a 20% down loan that there's 20% equity on the property.
Tell me, who's your typical and ideal client?
Most of our clients right now are banks and mortgage companies. Some appraisers do concentrate in estate work and divorce work. I do some private work. Most of it right now for me though is bank work, because that's where the steady work is. I've done some estate work, but that's where we're going on that.
Tell our viewers, Gary, what makes you unique? In other words, how are you different from other appraisal companies?
That's an interesting question, because all appraisers are guided by what we call the uniform standards of professional appraisal practice. So we all have to follow the same guidelines, and they all have to do the same, fill out the same form. However, each appraiser does it in a different way, their own unique way, depending on how they were trained. Some appraisers will take percentage adjustments, some will take a flat adjustment, on their grids and so forth. Some appraisers will go the extra mile and get extra maps and deeds and stuff and put them in the report. Others won't. So if I was to say I was unique, I would have to say that I'm only unique in the way that I do it, but I would like to say that I try to do it in the best way and get as much information, because what you're doing with an appraisal is you're actually telling a story. And the story is all about the house that you're appraising. You're taking pictures to show, say for instance, there's a landfill next door. Well, you want to take a picture of that so the bank can see that, and also get a map of it so they can see how close it is to the property. Or for instance, if there was a beautiful new kitchen in the house, you'd want to take a picture of that so you could say, well, this is the kitchen, and then now the bank can see it, the kitchen's there. And then if you're taking an adjustment for a house that doesn't have a kitchen, the nice kitchen is obviously going to make the other property worth more. So to be unique in the business is tough, because everybody, like I say, has to do the same thing, but you try to tell the story the best way and come up with the best comps so that you can get the value. And because it's very important for someone who's refinancing their house, they're putting their money out to try to get the refinance, or someone's purchasing the house, if they paid $150,000 or whatever for it, you want to try to appraise it for that value. If it's worth that value, it may not be worth that value. It may be worth more or less, but you want to try to get the best data so that they can go ahead and carry through what they're doing with their loan and so forth.
Have you had any interesting properties that you've appraised?
Oh yeah, I have them all the time now, and especially because the lack of comps is making it more difficult to do the appraisals. It's taking much more time. So we're always running into something. It seems like everybody who has a wacky property is behind a refinance right now. And it's only complicated by the fact that there's no comps. Usually if you have enough comps, you can find one that's similar to their wacky property, but now they're just not out there. So
how do you define a wacky property?
Well, something that doesn't have any comps, that you can't
Okay.
You can't really appraise it. I mean, it could be something simple too. However, one of the ones I just worked on recently was a property down in Freetown, It had no street frontage. It was 3 acres in the middle of a bunch of others. You had to access it over rights of way. It had 2 houses on it and a garage where the guy did automobile work. One of the houses was in the process of being renovated, and the house that he was living in needed to be renovated. So it was a total, I mean, where do you find a comp for that? That's just not a typical property. And you know, when you run into something like that, it takes you a long time. I'm actually reviewing a property right now down in Marshfield in the old rec center area. And that's a unique area. I don't know if you're familiar with it, but the homes in that particular area, it's almost like a neighborhood within a neighborhood. And they don't sell. That people own those properties, they sell them to a neighbor or to a friend. So you don't really have a good data for comps. So if you have a property that you have to appraise in that area, it becomes very difficult. Plus it has ocean views and things like that. And there haven't been a lot of waterfront properties that are sold either. So it's fun.
Yeah, I'll bet it
It's
is.
challenging.
Tell me, is there anything else that you would like the viewers to know about you or your business?
Well, I guess if they want to use me as an appraiser, they could contact me through the Mass Board of Real Estate Appraisers. Go onto that website, mbrea.org, and then just click on Find Appraisers, and they'll find me. If I do specialize in, obviously, residential appraisals, and I do mostly work in Plymouth County, so if they have something in that area that they need appraised, I can certainly help them out with it.
Can you share a phone number or a website
Sure.
or anything
My
like that?
office
for them?
number is 781-871-2234.
Excellent. Thank you, Gary, so much.
No
I really
problem.
appreciated it
Thank you.
tonight.